Hello guys. For the last month or so, I've been trying to finish One Piece, and I finally did. And now I'm kinda lost in life. I don't really know what to do with myself after finishing it, so I wanted to make this video and just talk about the show. The good, the bad, and the ugly. First off, I watched the show completely blind. No theories, no manga, nothing, just the anime. I have my own thoughts and questions which I'll talk about, but keep in mind I'm a casual watcher. So if I get things wrong, correct me in the comments. All I'll say right now, the show is amazing, it's genuinely worth it. I just finished Egghead, and I'm honestly lost for words. It feels weird going back to normal life and not thinking about the show, like nothing else feels the same right now. I know I'm still high off it, but yeah, it feels kinda empty. So I'll start from the beginning. Back in 2022, a friend recommended the show to me, and I said I'd give it a shot, but if I didn't like it, I'd tell him. I watched the first 50 or so episodes, and I didn't really get into it, so I dropped it. Then the live action came out on Netflix, and I came back to it. I actually loved the live action because it was fast-paced compared to the anime, which dragged at times. I won't lie, it literally put me to sleep sometimes. The anime drags a lot, but it's worth it. Anyway, I stopped again, and I don't know why, but last month I randomly started watching again, and from episode 500 I finished the whole thing. I did cheat a bit and used One Piece because it cuts out unnecessary stuff, and honestly, that helped a lot. Once I reached Marineford, I got hooked. That's when I started loving the show. I won't lie, I skipped a lot of Fishman Island, but oh well. My favorite arc is definitely Marineford. It was just amazing. Now getting into my thoughts and theories. I think Roger told Shanks what the One Piece was, and Shanks stole the gum-gum fruit on purpose. He knew what it was, and when Luffy ate it, he knew about the prophecy. That's why he gave him the hat. I feel like Shanks is up to something, that's why we barely see him. I think he's secretly preparing for a war against the government and the elders, and Luffy is part of his plan. That first scene of Shanks giving Luffy the hat really hooked me emotionally. I expected him to appear way more in the show, but he barely does. And I think that's intentional, because Oda doesn't want to reveal his plan yet. Next. Whitebeard. Coolest character in the entire show. Spoiler warning. His and Ace's deaths were some of the saddest episodes, and easily some of the best in the series. A lot of people say Luffy doesn't grow as a character, that he's still childish and goofy, but I actually think that's the whole point. He's just free, he doesn't try to do everything himself. He trusts his crew. Luffy always stands up for what he believes in, and he naturally pulls people together. He's like a magnet, and it's honestly kinda magical to watch. One of my favorite scenes is when he punches the celestial dragon. Everyone is warning him because of the admirals, but Luffy just doesn't care. He stands up for his friend, and watching that punch was so satisfying. I honestly have a lot more theories, but I'll save them for another video. After Marineford, the show just keeps getting better. Not so much Fishman Island, but everything else was peak. Every villain felt unique. My favorite was Doflamingo. That guy is such a character, just a great villain. Even Big Mom and Kaido. Great villains with great backstories. The fact they were once in the same crew and ended up fighting Luffy later was peak. At first, I thought the admirals were too overpowered, but they're admirals for a reason. They're well written. Now for the ugly part. The pacing sometimes really bothered me. For example, Egghead. Vegapunk takes like 5 episodes just talking about coffee before starting his speech. Imagine waiting weekly for episodes, and he keeps saying he'll start in 7 minutes. Then weeks later, he finally talks. I watched it in one go, thankfully, but I can't imagine fans going through that weekly. Moments like that feel like filler and drag the show down a bit. That's honestly my only negative. Other than that, after Marineford, the show just hits different and I fell in love with it. I've never really watched anime before, and this was the one I loved. I still have so much I want to talk about and so many opinions, but I'll leave that for the next video. Before I finish, let's talk about Egghead. Personally, I thought it was amazing. Since I watched it all in one go, I really enjoyed it. I can imagine it probably felt slow for people watching weekly, but for me, it was great. And the story is definitely getting darker. One thing though, during the fight with the five elders, part of me wishes only Saturn showed up. It would have made them feel even more overpowering. Instead, we actually saw them getting handled, and Luffy kind of made Saturn look like a fool. I do understand why they all appeared though. Everyone was scattered around the island, so they needed one elder for each situation. And Kuma's moment was great. It really showed how serious everything has become. Now I honestly just can't wait for the next arc and to see how the world reacts after Vegapunk's speech and the secret being revealed. This was just a blind review straight off my head. I need time to process everything properly and think about it more, and I'll definitely make another video about it. I still have a lot to talk about and so many questions,